Well, I think we've got almost a full house, and I don't want to keep you guys later. So it's Eileen here, and let's see. What I'm going to do is take over the mic for a little while, go over some protocols, give you a little background, and then put you on your own. Okay. So first of all, I'm afraid this is going to be a little one-sided. So if you would just be patient, I want to give you some background. And have all of you found the chat box? Because when we have too many mics on at once with a large group, it becomes too hard to keep the mics on. So if you keep your mics off, we'll use the chat box now, but after my introductory comments, I'm going to ask you all to break out into groups, and you'll have plenty of time to talk with each other. So I just want to ask, in the chat, could you tell me whether you were able to get to the kickoff where Rajataki, otherwise known as Nicola, gave everybody a really good presentation. So could you tell me if you were able to hear her? And just maybe put yes or no in the chat box. Okay, so some of you heard her, some of you didn't, and I'll ask you to bear with me if you heard her before, but I think if you see right behind me over here, there are some directions, and I just want to review them because I'm going to assume that you're pretty much a newbie in Second Life, and one of the things that becomes most difficult in the beginning is just learning how to focus. So if you bring your mouse over something that you want to zoom in on, for example, try to zoom in on my avatar, bring the mouse over it, and one way to zoom in is to then hold Alt on the keyboard, and when you do that, you see the mouse turns to a magnifying glass. Click the object that you want to zoom in on, and then you can use your mouse scroll wheel to zoom in and out. That's one way to zoom in and out. You also have on the bottom of your screen an option that says camera controls. When you click that, you bring up, you like my Empire State College t-shirt. I will find out how to get you ones too. There is so much I want to do in virtual reality that I have to be careful not to scare you off at the beginning. But we can share clothes, and Rajataki is an expert designer, and we have somebody wearing one of her outfits here. Actually, two of us. I have one of her outfits on. And you see, the zoom will affect the volume. And for some reason, I can't lower my volume enough. So sometimes I'm going into the red zone. If it gets annoying, you can zoom back from me a little bit. There's another cool thing. She has my hair and my outfit are from Nicola, one of our faculty members, and we'll ask her to bring us on a tour again. And she's very generous. She'll give you avatars. I wish I looked this good, but honestly, I don't. So anyway, you can zoom in and out. If you want to hear an avatar, like you might try me, or you could even try one of your neighbors. It doesn't really matter. What you do is bring the mouse over the person and hover there for a moment, and you should see an exclamation point come up. And when that comes up, you click on it, and one of the options should be a little slide wheel. So you might try clicking on me, because I keep on going a little bit into the red zone, and use that slide wheel so you get a comfortable perspective on hearing me. So Was everyone able to kind of figure out how to zoom in and out and how to hear an avatar without too much trouble? Perfect. You know, once you get the sound going, that's the basics. And I'm going to show you in a minute some of the much more amazing things you can do in virtual reality, but for tonight we're going to use it pretty much like a webinar. So it's not the best use, but it's a beginner use. So if you could all, I'm going to do a little presentation here. I'll move over. And after we get going, I hope this will take about 20 minutes. I'll release you to start talking to each other about your ideas. So use your chat box if you want me to slow down or if you have any questions. And what I can do is like turn off my mic and let you talk, but I think we'll get feedback if we have too many talking at once. So does that make sense? Is that reasonable? That you chat back for the time being? All right, you're good sports. And Cindy, did you figure out how to sit down? You don't have to sit. There are a lot of studies in Second Life that look at social realities. You can stand, but generally people make their avatar sit, you know, in a situation like this. So if you want to sit, what you can do is bring your mouse over a chair, right-click on it, and chairs and a lot of other objects, you can sit on them. And one of the general rules when you bring a mouse over an object, you can zoom in and out, and you can see some of the other options. So today we're going to do Virtual Reality 101, and the first question really is, what is Second Life? And I'll ask you in the chat, how many of you have ever used Second Life before? Have you ever used it to come and visit? Okay, David's not been there. No, okay, Julia, first time. Oh yes, Jennifer. Jennifer and Danu have both been in my classes, so they've used them before. Okay, so the rest of you are kind of newbies. I think you're going to have fun, and honestly, I'm going to have fun. When I use Second Life, I often use it with my science teachers, and Second Life is not the key aspect of what we're doing. We're doing science and science teaching, so Second Life is just an add-on. In this class, learning to figure what a virtual reality can do for you is going to actually be an objective of the class. So we'll go a lot further, and I think I've got some real talent in this class. So I'm excited about getting a chance to get some people who might work with me in the future. I'll show you a few slides in a moment about things I've done, but I'm excited about interdisciplinary possibilities. And you all have different backgrounds, different interests, and different groups that you have an interest in working with right away. So as the course evolves, I'm hoping that we'll see some possible ways we can work with each other. It'll be a secondary objective in the course because this course is rather survey. But there are also faculty members that are coming to us as the Emerging Technology Group, and they want us to possibly work with them. So I'll be talking about that during the semester. But you'll see that Second Life is open to you actually create whatever you want, but it becomes a very good way to have interdisciplinary projects. And after you hear some of my opening comments, I'm going to ask you to go in your groups, go anywhere you want to in the islands. We own 2 islands. Empire State College is 2 islands. Just move your group out far enough so you don't get interference from the headsets, and then you'll be able to talk. So let me just get started with the background so I can release you to do what it is. Whoops. And I will try to keep up with the chat, but if I miss it, okay, the names of the 2 islands. Do me a favor right now. Could you all go up to World at the top of the screen and then go to World Map and open it up. It will bring you to the island. I think one of them is called SUNY ESC Learning Zone. The way it evolved was that there was initially one island and we were asked to play on it. So I got playing, but I'm a science person. I have no aesthetic sense. So what they did was decided after they saw that I could make the ugliest things possible, and they wanted to have a pretty island too, they put me up in the clouds. So if you look for the Science Center, you'll find the first Science Center was actually moved into the clouds because my lack of aesthetic sense. And they then purchased a second island so that we could play with it. And you see, okay, SUNY, ESC, and Empire State. Where are we now, please? If you look on that map, let me open mine up too. World Map. You'll see that we are right now, and you can drag it around, in the upper right corner. Were you able to find that? You should see a bunch of green dots which represent us. So maybe you could tell me in the chat. That's one way to see where we are. So were you all able to find us? Oops, I have to go back and find. I lost my chat box. It's on my screen, but I'm going to close down my map. It's in the way.
Yeah, we see it, Eileen. Thanks.
Okay, good. And some of you said set it at home as home. By default, your avatar goes back to the last place that you were, but you can also set something to home. Over time, if you're interested, we can have little breakout sessions, and I will teach you more of some of these basics. There's also something called the mini map, which was up there too. You can't teleport with the mini map, but with the mini map, if you hover over a green dot, you'll see the name of the avatar. Now, if any of you were at Nicola's presentation, she went an awful lot into the communication network. That's part of virtual reality. And I won't have time to go into that tonight. Julia, see if you won't see the names under the big world map. But if you close that one and go up to World Minimap, you should, let me see, yeah, if you hover over them, the problem is we're all clustered together right now. I see somebody off in right field. One of our colleagues teleported herself somewhere else. I'll just wait till she comes back. One thing too, you might just look under World Map. You can see our 2 islands. You can also use that to find other places, and there are some great places in Second Life, and there are some places that are pretty scary, at least to me. So, be cautious. This is supposedly G-rated, but it's a public property, so it's open to the public, so you can't always know what you're going to get to. On these islands, though, they should be safe, and if they're not, please let me know. But don't do this now, but if you want to go to another place on the island, open the world map and then just double-click another spot and you'll all move to it. You will move to it. So later on, when you're in your groups, you may want to go together to another place. So one way to do that is simply open up the map, agree on a place. Right, when you look at world map, you're getting a top view, so you can't really tell what you're doing. You're just seeing the top of the buildings, but you can then double click and move. You can also run and fly, the easiest way to do those things is to just do it, and then you'll learn. So was everyone able to at least find the world map and get kind of oriented as to where we are right now? Just tell me in the chat whether you kind of... Okay. All right. Okay, so we're kind of catching on there. What I will do is be, each time we meet here, kind of giving you a few more things. Nicola gave a very great presentation on some of the communications. There's instant messaging here. There's ways to communicate with groups. Honestly, I don't use them much. I come in and bring in students, and you'll see some of my goals. I honestly do not come in and join a lot of the communities in Second Life. I just honestly don't have the time. Some of you may want to join some of the communities, and then being able to use some of those other ways of communicating become more important. And Nicola gave us a great overview. She gave us some slides, and I will be putting a lot of links together on kind of a user website. So if you want to test things on your own, we own these 2 islands. Later on, if you're interested, you can actually do a little building, and I will be running a whole course on virtual island building. So I hope a lot of you get excited about it and join me in that course. And then you can make your own island too. So just to say, I'm only giving you a couple of baby steps, and it takes a while to learn everything, but it's really fun. So I hope you come back and try more. But let me show you some of the things I've done. And I think if some of you saw Nicola, you saw what she does is a lot of the really beautiful design work. She is an artist, but I want to kind of give you an overview. And can you folks see the little PowerPoint schematic I put up? Can you zoom in on that maybe? Okay, so most of you can see that. What I want you to keep in mind is, although I'm going to show you some things that I've done, and we'll use some of the Empire State College places, please think outside the box. You can design your own world. You can build things, and you can see what I did in the background.